Okay, good afternoon everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We meet again in a civic education class, and for today we will still continue our previous topic from next week, which is human rights and rule of law. But for today, I will be focusing on human rights in Indonesia, the short history of human rights in Indonesia. And also, I will explain about the rule of law, the concept and implementation. Okay, first we will start with human rights in Indonesia. Uh, in the early years of the Reformation era in Indonesia, in 1998, at the time, all of international eyes were looking on Indonesia related to human rights enforcement. There are quite a lot cases human rights violation during the older regime. But at the time, all of international eyes were looking on East Timor after the referendum of East Timor. Most of them were voting to be independent from Indonesia. And in early February 2003, East Timor or Timor-Leste in Indonesia received international attention because at the time there was an arrest warrant that issued by Serious Crime Unit, one of the body that formed by UNTAET, United Nations Transitional Administration in East Timor, part of United Nations. And this organization, Serious Crime Unit, issued an arrest warrant to General Wiranto related to the human rights violation after the referendum of East Timor. Human rights violations also happened in several regions in Indonesia during the New Order regime, such as Aceh, Ambon, Poso, Trisakti, and Semanggi, and so on. In order to resolve various cases of human rights violation that occurred during the New Order regime and before the New Order regime, in 2003, the KPP-HM, Commission for Investigating Human Rights Violation, was formed by National Commission of Human Rights, or Komnas HAM. This new commission at that time investigating various cases of serious human rights violation in the past, such as Tanjung Priok tragedy, Tanjung Priok case, Tanjung Priok tragedy, which was happened in 1984 in Tanjung Priok, North Jakarta. There was a mass massacre during the New Order regime at the time. And after Tanjung Priok, also KPP-HM also investigating East Timor case, human rights violation after the referendum of East Timor, and Kuda Tuli incident, or 27 July 1996 riots in Jakarta, Indonesia, the Trisakti case, or the shooting on the students that were protesting inside the Trisakti University campus, and Semanggi, and also other cases. The basis of the establishment of KPP-HM is Law Number 39, 1999, on human rights, which contains, first is every human rights of a person gives rise to basic obligations and responsibility to respect the human rights of others in a reciprocal manner. Number two, in exercising their rights and freedoms, everyone must be subject to the restrictions established by law. In year 2000, law number 26 2000 concerning human rights court as instrument to prosecute human rights violation also enacted at that time. Okay, we will continue to the description of human rights in the 1945 Constitution. Actually, the concept of human rights in the 1945 Constitution is closely related to human nature in Pancasila. The moral principles which underlie the 1945 Constitution. Human nature in Pancasila is a monopluralist, consists of many aspects, but is a unity that cannot be separated. Indonesian nation actually have already included a statement on human rights in the 1945 Constitution, which was enacted on August 18, 1945, several years earlier than the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948. The first sentence, if we want to take a look at the first sentence in the preamble or the opening of the 1945 Constitution, it was stated that whereas independence is a genuine right of all nations, and any form of alien occupation should thus be erased from the earth as not in conformity with humanity and justice. So, the first sentence in the preamble is the declaration of freedom as a genuine right of all nations. Continue to the first sentence is a juridical acknowledgement of independence or freedom, which is a human right as stated in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 1. Everyone is born free and has the same dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should associate with one another in brotherhood. And the next statement of human rights in the preamble of the 1945 Constitution, we could also find it in paragraph 3. By the grace of God Almighty and urged by the lofty aspiration to exist as a free nation, now therefore the people of Indonesia declare herewith their independence. Implicitly, in paragraph 3, there is an acknowledgement that humans are creatures of God. This means that the Indonesian nation recognizes and upholds human rights to embrace religions according to their respective beliefs. Human rights related to freedom of religion is explicitly stated in the 1945 Constitution, Article 29, Section 2. And about the freedom of religion, also stated in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 18. Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. Okay. You could read in slide number 10. The next declaration, the next statement of human rights, we could also find in paragraph 4 of the preamble. Pursuant to which, in order to form a government of the state of Indonesia that shall protect the whole people of Indonesia and the entire homeland of Indonesia, and in order to advance general prosperity, to develop the nation's intellectual life. It means that the Indonesian state guarantees and protects the human rights of its citizens, which are related to the welfare of life from physical and spiritual perspective. We could also find the description of human rights in the 1945 Constitution, Article 28A to 28J. Okay, that is a short description of human rights in Indonesia and in the Constitution of Indonesia. We will continue to the definition of rule of law. What is rule of law? Okay, a rule of law, basically, the rule of law and a nation of laws complement each other. Indonesia is also a nation of laws. Based on its form, the rule of law is a public power that is legally regulated. Every organization in society, including the state, is based on rule of law. In the country, rule of law substantially related to statutory regulations. Four main elements of a nation of laws, according to Frederick J. Stahl. First is human rights. Second is separation of powers to guarantee those rights. Number three is government based on rules. Number four, administrative justice to settle all disputes. Indonesian country, or the Republic of Indonesia, legally, formally is also a nation of laws. We could also read in the preamble of the 1945 Constitution, paragraph 4, which is stated that Indonesia's national independence shall be laid down in a constitution of the state of Indonesia, which is to be established as the state of the Republic of Indonesia with sovereignty of the people. So Indonesia also based on the constitution, which is also means that Indonesia is a nation of laws. Okay, next, there are three basic elements in the rule of law according to Albert Pandisi. First, supremacy of the rule of law means no arbitrary powers. A person can only be punished if he or she violates the law. Number two, equal status before the law applies to all circles in the society, poor or rich, noble or regular people, both of the people and the state official as well. So all of them have equal status before the law. Number three, human rights is guaranteed by law and court decision. Okay, I think that's all for today. If you have questions, you could deliver it in the Zoom meeting. Thank you for your kind attention. Until we meet again, see you next week. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.